Hey folks, what's going on? It is Tuesday, the 17th of October. Once again, it was, well, I'll do some explaining. Cheers first. When I said yesterday that for a minute was thinking about not doing a video because I was feeling cranky, it didn't occur to me until later in the day that, oh, yes, I do deal with seasonal affective disorder, depression, and I can't always predict how it shows itself, but I know that historically in my life, times when I've had big shifts in mood is the changing of the seasons, particularly when it's going from summer into autumn, which is where we're at. And so I had to say, oh yeah, Dereck, don't forget. I have good coping skills for this. It's not the sort of depression where you're thinking about something that makes you sad. It's a state of being. It's like a state that your entire self is in, and you just have to ride it out. So that's part of what that was. And do I feel it today? Yeah, yeah. It's a seasonal thing. Some of you other people know about it. You do. Um, Not much on my plate today except to share a couple of updates. Um, a broadcaster, possibly fellow musician by the name of Paul Lopez, who I don't actually know, but he and I are associated through Facebook. He asked me a while ago if I would do a radio promo for his show, the Shoegaze Collective. And I did. And now the show is going to be up online tonight on Decay FM, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. I'll leave the link. Apparently, he'll be playing some of my music as well as other stuff. I'm not shoegaze, but you know that I like shoegaze music. So that's on. I'll leave the link. And I don't know what will be on the show, so I plan to listen. I want to shout out a couple of VC members. I don't watch very many videos. I just. But when El Bicho Feo, Dave Wayne makes cheap heat videos, I always watch them. He lives in a part of the country where he gets access to these records that I don't. I mean, compared to what I see in his videos, I never saw that. I never see these records, and they're records I want. And then he always shows records that I have, because it's in my wheelhouse. He has a new video up, Cheap Heat. I love it. I want to shout out to Stephen Schipper, the Dutch record collector. He's one of the people who inspired me, along with Mr. Hall of Fame. I don't know if Hall of Fame is still making videos, but every now and then I check on Stephen Schipper. He's having a contest right now. I'm not going to participate. He's saying, show your Dutch records. I've got Dutch records, but I've got nothing compared to people who are from Holland. I watched a couple videos. Well, actually, I watched one. I don't forget the person's name, but I had never heard of any of the records. That yeah, those are Dutch people. They know their stuff. I just scratched the surface. But ever since childhood and the Beatles turned me on to the idea of music around the world, I've been fascinated with wanting to hear music from every country, particularly rock music because of my age. So I want to shout them out, but not participating in the contest. Eric, thank you for your order on the CD on Interlude. I mailed it this morning. Please don't stop buying my music. It actually helps my household. It really does. So I don't. Well, the only thing that I have that I worked yesterday in my studio most of the day. I love days like that. but I did play this all the way through. David Sylvian's Words with the Shaman, with John Hassel, Steve Jansen, and Holger Zukai. This is blissful. It's blissful, wordless. There are voices that are sample or through Holger Zukai's dictaphone or whatever. I love this. I just love this type of expression. It's deep but accessible at the same time. David Sylvian is a cat. He's someone I'd like to meet. I wouldn't mind meeting David Sylvian. That's the only thing I played yesterday. Like I said, I'm working on another set of samples. It's fun. And what's the latest one?
And instead he bought rude books, and they disappear. Now the phone.
See, it's fun to just. So that one there. I'll stop it. That one is fun. That's me, not unquantized, playing in real time, rhythmically, a couple of different samples, 3 samples there. It's fun. So I may work on more of that today. As I sit there, I keep thinking, okay, do a poll. I keep shrinking from trying to do a poll that says, these are some of my favorite records of all time. I just keep pulling back from doing that. So almost any place I pull is going to be interesting. Okay, I'm going to pull over here. Let's see what this pile is. Lenny White, Astral Pirates, Fusion and Funk, great drummer, very cool album cover. I've told the story before, but when I saw Return to Forever on the Romantic Warrior tour, after the show, the band split up. Stanley and Chick went to Alan's showcase here in Omaha for a jam session. Lenny White and Al DeMiola went down to the Old Market to the Howard Street Tavern to have a drink. I caught wind of that and went down to Howard Street and intended to just say hello, but they invited me to their table and said, have a drink with us. So I got to hang out with Al and Lenny White. Really like this one of his. Streamline. Really like this. Fusion. But definitely with the rock. Well, yeah, that's what fusion was. Rock, jazz, fusion. Great drummer. He was one of the drummers. His first recording session, if I'm not misspeaking, was Miles Davis' Bitches Brew. What a way to get your career started, huh? Yeah, these old Blake sleeves are going to eventually go by the wayside as time is taking its toll on them. But again, I've had them for at least 10 years and they've served me well. Venusian Summer. Really good. The record cover doesn't really tell you much. And this one is first solo album. Love this one. This is killer. Big City. Neil Schon, Ray Gomez play some excellent solos on here. They always stand out to my ear. And there's the ringware from me hauling it around to parties. Telling people, listen to this. Great stuff. What's next in this pile? David Vorhaus, right? Yeah, David Vorhaus. White Noise, and this is White Noise number 2. Some connection with the BBC Radiophonic, I believe. Concerto for Synthesizer. Of the White House that I have, this is the one that I really get into. It took me a while to find a vinyl copy. White Noise. This is creepy and also very, it is a singular sound. A lot of the electronic sounds on here are unique to this album. They're not typical synthetic sounds. But the setting and the songs, some of the songs, kind of creep me out. Probably that was on purpose, I guess. Well, as you know, we lost Alan White, formerly of Yes, not that long ago, bless him. Ramshackled. I bought this when it first came out. Really was disappointed, got rid of it. Got it again years later, once my perspective was broadened about don't have expectations just because somebody played with someone. Let people do what they do. And with that in mind, this is a pretty decent album, Ramshackled. Nothing like Yes at all. Not Prague. It's a good album. I met Alan White. I mentioned that to you too. At a Porcupine Tree show up in Seattle. He was in the audience. And thankfully, it was kind of dark. He had to size me up to see if I was cool. I like how he did it because it was real obvious. And so, okay, who are you? It was like that. And, he was real open about it. Who are you? Got a few words out and he relaxed and we got into a talk. When I made it apparent, I know who you are and much respect. Love those I love that. Gunter Christman, Torsten Muller, LaDonna Smith, and Davey Williams. White Earth Streak. The sort of thing that back in the day is like I love to find stuff like this, especially used. This is the sort of thing that kind of reminds me of El Bicho Feo's Cheap Heat. That we're kind of on a similar wavelength where we're looking for good music. He's particularly into jazz. But a lot of really good music doesn't sell. And so after the fact, it just ends up in bins and you can find it. And that's how I found this. Don't remember how this sounds. I know this is substantial though. Improvisation, most likely. Yeah. One that I need to listen to more. Andrew White's Conversations on Sonagaya. I always forget what this sounds like. Is it new agey or is it more calm jazz? I have to play this. I like that cover. Andrew White on acoustic guitar and tambura. Yeah. So see, once again, I do myself a favor by doing this. It's like, I don't need to go to the record store. I got a record store here in the house. Here's a couple of absolute bomb-ass albums. Bomb. Kenny Wheeler, British trumpeter, rest in peace. Major talent. Fantastic musician he was. I've never heard an uninteresting solo by Kenny Wheeler. This is a beautiful album. Dear Juan. Dear Juan. This is really good. Even better. Well, I'm more familiar with this one. Both the albums are good, but New High with Jarrett DeJeanette and Dave Holland. If you know, you know. New High. Good name for that album. Here we're back in Germany from the 70s, the days of the cosmic and folk rock coming out of there. Witthuser and Westrupp. I wish I had the other one. They have one with a more psychedelic cover that always is on lists of the krautrock albums to have. I don't have it on vinyl, but I have this one, Bauer Plath. And this is more folk rock than psychedelic. It's all in German, so I don't know what it's about, so I seldom play it, but it's a keeper, and it's an original on the Pills label with the mushroom. Randy Weston, important jazz musician, Carnival. Arista Freedom. When Arista got hip and started releasing all these in the 70s, the Freedom label in America, they almost pulled it off. It lasted for a few years, but he put out a lot of really good releases. Haven't played this in a while. Here's one that it's on the Editions EG. It's a kind of an odd thing that I don't even remember what it sounds like. Oh, Je suis Soul, Bhagwan Boogie Mix, the West India Company. And Pandit Dinesh is on here, and Stepan Luscombe, who was in Blancmange. I think those were some of why I was interested in hearing this, but I also got it. Cheap Heat. Don't remember what this sounds like. Okay. This is good. This is good. After I turn off the video, I'm going to crank up the stereo. I think this was sent to me. Because I didn't know about this. I think someone sent this to me. Western Standards, Unraveling Designs. I think this is a kind of a post-rock sound. I have to look. Is this... No, it's just black vinyl. See, I forget. I think this is a post-rock sound. I like that simple graphic. I have some exploration to do. Here's one that I got because of the association with members of Frank Zappa's band. Western Vacation. Western Vacation on Akashic Records, the label that I think Steve Vai's first solo album came out on this label. But folks that played with Zappa are on this, and there's a slight Zappa-ness to some of it. Bob Harris, Tommy Mars on keyboards. There's Stu Ham, who I actually played a show with. And so this is interesting. It's musical, but it's also, there seems to be, I gotta listen to this again. Cool stuff. And the last part that I grabbed here is, not part, but these are the next one. The West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band Volume 3. The lead guy of the band, Mark Lee, who had all the money and put this together, you know, the stories about him being, you know, kind of a masher, you know, kind of a predator, have diminished some of the history about this band. These are good records, though. It's you know, what he did, like Kim Foley and a lot of people, it's not okay, but it was really fairly typical behavior. This is an original. That's a reissue. This is their second album, Volume 2. Yeah, the guy in the... Look at him. He even looks kind of creepy. And I'll just pull it because it's just right here. I have the first one. This one is a recent reissue by the Jackpot label. Love that psychedelic cover. And I need to look. I think this is on colored vinyl. Yeah, it is. And they do a pastiche of the old Reprise label. Musically, these are worth listening to. He hooked up with a young band who are actually good. Apparently, it all happened at a house party that the Yardbirds played at for some rich folks in California. So there's some records for you. So now I got to leave them out so I can remember to post the titles for you. Family out in California. Hope you all are doing well. I'll leave it there, people. Have a good day, all right?